Hey people, hello, Cabin Game Fever here, and it's now the year 2023, apparently. That happened a few days ago, and I decided that this kind of year, obviously it's time for making resolutions, and I thought to myself, do you know what? I am going to make a resolution to make a bit of different content this year, because pretty much for the last 3 years, my online presence has pretty much been, whether that be Instagram or YouTube, has basically all been about me sitting behind a camera, beating games in an angry way, shouting at the TV, and putting myself through stress to beat these games. And don't worry, that's not stopping. We're carrying on with that. We've still got around 60 games left in the SNES challenge, and then we'll be moving on to another console. Don't worry. But I'd also like to make some other content. So I've set myself a little target, a little resolution to try and produce. I'm hoping for 1 video a month, maybe more, maybe less. We shall see. Depends how intensive they become. I've got some ideas, nothing too crazy, a lot of stuff you've probably already seen, but at the end of the day, it's a different perspective. And sometimes that can be an interesting thing to see. I hope you'd enjoy that. I've got a lot of games to talk about, and a lot of other things too. Obviously, keeping within the retro theme, but it's not just going to be talking about hidden gems and expensive purchases and all that kind of jazz, although of course we'll cover those things. But I've got some other ideas, some things that people might find interesting generally about gaming and collecting and that kind of thing, but also just talk about my collection, my games room, all that fun stuff, because I've kind of been neglecting it. There was always the intention when I started this YouTube channel was to do a bit more than just upload playthroughs, but that's all it's been so far, really. I did have a crack at doing some reviewing on the NES side of things, and I know I've been doing my series, clipping up all my end clips for the NES games and putting those into little videos, which have been relatively popular in terms of my channel, which is basically zero. But as my channel goes, it's got more views than anything else. So we'll be continuing with that as well. And you may have noticed that I've actually started playing through some NES games again, and I will be continuing to do that in a more casual walkthrough, playthrough way, where, because I know the games already, they're games that I quite enjoy, so it's just chilled, man. It's light-hearted. I can sit back, enjoy the games, and give some commentary as I play in a far more light-hearted and probably quite a lot more enjoyable way to watch than the usual, angry cabin Game Fever that I normally am when I'm playing through games for the first time. If you watch my playthroughs, that's just often how it ends up, I'm afraid, with me. I'm not a very chilled person when I am struggling to beat a game. But yeah, so that's going to be carrying on. Of course, the SNES challenge is going to be carrying on. That's not going anywhere. We've still got around... we're coming to the end. The reason I haven't given a target for how many SNES games there are is because there hasn't been an end to the collection. It's been continually adding to it over the last year. I've probably added around 80 games, I'd say, in the last year. But I'm finally heading towards the end of that target, man. I have already, like most of the big hitters for the Super Nintendo, I kind of already had that anyway. The last year has been about collecting a lot of rarer things, not necessarily price tag rare, but just rare in terms of, just scarcity. Doesn't often have to have a big price tag on it to be rare. So I'll be picking up a lot of those, but there is still some games missing from my SNES collection. I can name a few things, and I'm not going to add them, guys. I'll be honest with you now. If you're looking for Mega Man X2, X3, Mega Man 7, Captain Commando, none of those are coming. I've made up my mind about those. They were on my wish list for years. I should have got them years and years ago. I didn't when they were a lot cheaper. I could have had Captain Commando for under £100 a couple of times, and at the time I thought that was too dear. And I was looking, I think I was looking for around £100, and they sold for maybe 110, 120, which was, at the time, I thought that was too much. But you win some, you lose some. Anyway, not going to go into that. We can do another video about games that I would like that I haven't picked up yet, and I've decided not to. But other than the few things, the SNES collection is pretty much there, and the current the current number of games I have there is 186. and I am planning to add probably a few more. I think there's about 3 or 4 more games that I'm waiting for, all very obtainable titles. So I would imagine that we will have a target of around 190, and at the time of making this video I am currently on game 131. So yeah, not many to go, around 60 games to go. I think that'll probably take me to the end of the year. Hopefully that'll be another resolution, is to try and finish that off. I'd like to finish it by the end of the year. It depends how intensive some of the content I'm planning to make this year becomes, because I would, as I said, very much like to make my resolution this year to make more content, because as you can see behind me, I've got other consoles to talk about, people. I'm not just about Nintendo. I think a lot of people think I am basically cabin game Nintendo, or cabin Nintendo fever. That's not true. Of course we have the Super Nintendo up here, and we have the NES here, but down here we've got Master System, quite plenty of games there. We've got lots of Mega Drive games along there. Up the top there we've got the PS2, over in the corner here, up in there, sorry, up there we've got the PS1. Plenty of games, man. Plenty of games. We also have PS3, and we've got Game Boy, and we've got Jaguar, and we've got I say Jaguar, we've got Tempest 2000. I mean, what else do you want for Jaguar? But yeah, we've got TurboGrafx, we've got the Vectrex, we've got the Dreamcast, we've got yeah, let's have a look at the Dreamcast stuff as well. Down on the shelf, Dreamcast, Mega CD, Sega Saturn. You know, there's other games, guys, don't worry, there is other games. But you know, the reality of the fact is that since COVID, gaming has exploded in the collecting scene. It seems like everyone and their mother is now a collector, and unfortunately that has had quite an effect on the prices of games. So my original plan of kind of polishing off my collection for every library one by one, which is what I had been doing. I'd finished the NES now, got every UK game. Super Nintendo up there, as I said, I'm 4 games off my target. I would there's going to jump onto the Mega Drive and finish off my Mega Drive Master System. Chances are a lot of those hitters that are left on my Mega Drive collection I probably won't be getting, because yeah, things have just gone mad. I have 2 kids now. I can't justify paying the kind of crazy prices that go with a lot of the games that are still on my wish list. So that's that. It's okay though, I don't mind. I've made peace with that. There's still plenty of games to play through, and I'm sure it will take me a year or so at least, if not more, to sort of knock through the Mega Drive. So there's still plenty more content, guys, for one man's journey to beat his whole collection. So yeah, anyway, this video has got a bit longer than I wanted to just be, but just wanted to say keep an eye on the channel, and hopefully over the next year you're going to see a bit more content, a bit more different things. So enjoy, and thanks to anyone who has continued supporting me and continued watching anything that I've put out. I really appreciate it. All your comments, likes, subscriptions, all the rest of it. It's really nice. So cheers, peace out, and I will see you soon for some more content, hopefully then this month. Hi guys, I forgot to do my shout outs for the year, which is a big part of the reason why I wanted to do the video in the first place, because there are so many people, so many great people who have made this year really enjoyable for me, and kind of spur me on to make content, man, because you know, I haven't got that many followers, and it's nice to know that there are at least some people out there who enjoy the stuff that I do. Kind of keeps me motivated to keep on doing more stuff, and it's been an interesting year, and there's been some surprises along the way. And I know that before I drop some names, I just want to say that YouTube, especially the community that exists on there in the gaming scene, is like really quite special, and I think that it's great that so many people are out there collaborating with each other. I think in much more than you know, just a kind of I'll help you if you help me kind of scenario. I think that it kind of is going further than that, and there are, you know, like nice friendships bonding, which is great, you know, to see common interests merging together to create other good content, man. I really appreciate everything that goes on, even though I don't really contribute enough to it, largely because my life doesn't really allow me to do it. I have so limited time with my 2 young girls. I've got a 4-year-old, I've got a 1.5-year-old, and that takes up basically all my free time when I'm not working. When I'm working, I'm working, and when I'm off, I'm got my kids. That's pretty much my life. I have some time in the evenings for gaming, which is why I concentrate mainly on playthroughs. But I'm hoping this year that I can find more time to do some other stuff. But along this year, I have managed to fit in the odd thing, and it's been a pleasure to be involved with a couple of things. Retro Chef, big shout out to him. It was really nice to meet up with him and to do a gaming event that we did with my boy Ali over at the Retro, a gaming hub, which unfortunately no longer exists, Multi-Tap Gaming Hub. But that was great fun doing that Street Fighter 2 tournament, and it was nice to meet the chef there, and it was very nice of him to invite me onto the swap shop, which I had a great laugh on. Shame I haven't been able to do any more, but commitment time is just so tough for me to get involved with anything these days. But I really enjoyed the one I did. Big shout out to Sega Zombie for all the gear that he bought off me, especially, and everyone else who was involved with that as well. And a huge shout out, special shout out to Retro Crisis, who this year has just been like so much help to me, always dropping me little hints about how to do things, and just like a really nice guy. And it was a real pleasure to be invited onto his podcast, which if you haven't listened to, he's got, I think, 8 episodes now this year, which came out involved, interviewing different tubers. And it was a real honour really to be on that, to have anyone interested in sort of talking to me about really anything to do with me. I thought that was great, and I waffled on at great pace for over an hour at high speed, which is what I always do when I am enthusiastically in talking about something I enjoy. So if you want to listen to that, by all means go for it. Maybe knock the speed down by about 0.5%, and you'll probably be at a good listening pace. But also want to have a shout to a lot of other people that are supporting me on both Instagram and on YouTube. And I've mentioned the chef and Retro Crisis, but going back to Instagram, where things kind of began for me, I can never forget, and will always have so much respect for my Ecuadorian brethren, namely Mr. Rob Lowe, Unlimited Retro Gaming, Retro Games Journey. Those guys have been massively supporting me. And also Gomez Gometto from over that side of the world as well. We've had some great chinwags about games. Retro Hound, Jenny Jen, you guys know the score. Sega Master System, Andy Robertson, Legalized Freedom, Dynamite Denton, Retro Game Scenes, You Can Beat Video Games. Big shout to him as well for the help he's given me. Recap City, my boys, Cat Height O and Castlevaniac. You guys, consistent and real kind of fans of, I think, Cat Height particularly with the SNES stuff, and Castlevaniac, just my brethren, my boy when it comes to beating games. That is another hardcore game beater, and we share a similar vibe in that sense, and I always enjoy your posts, man. It's great to hear about games that you've beaten. But yeah, also Old Man Gamer, Champion 2D, Trash Talk Games, Brembo, Lynx Caden, Nintendo Cam, My Retro Tech, Power Ups Polygons, Farhad Retro, Daily Gamer, Present Perfect Gaming, Dynamite Game Twins, Play Dennis, Scott 2172, is that how it is? Scotty 2122, my D&B buddy. Well, we don't really been to any raves together, but we both have a mutual respect for D&B, which is a big thing. But yeah, and listen, anyone else who hasn't been mentioned, there's so many more people that have been supporting me. Not least as well, another little shout out actually to a guy who's been a big supporter of me with loads of different things, and that is Marathon Gamer, who has got a great YouTube channel as well. Links up a lot with the people I've already mentioned, like Ali and should I call him by his YouTube name, Mr. 16 Bits and Bobs, big friend of mine. Lovely guy, work with him. We have a great laugh. But yeah, we're talking about Marathon Gaming here, and he's a lovely guy, and I definitely check out his stuff. Does a lot of stuff with the chef and 16 Bits and Bobs. So by all means, check these guys out. They've been real helpful over the last year, and it's been good fun working with them in the small little bits that I've done. But yeah, shout out to everyone else who, and if there's loads of people I probably haven't mentioned, I apologise. There's just so many names that are constantly popping up on Instagram, and it's been great to have all of you along for the ride, and I hope for another year of creating content that you guys can enjoy. So thanks very much, and see you soon.